So my name is Jose Cara. I'm from LatinoScoop.com in Chicago. We are a digital platform for Latino entertainment
Nice.
for our readers.
Mhm.
Nice.
Thank you for your time today, Jaime and Carolina, and join Benicio San.
Thank you.
To
Thank you.
talk to us about crossover. So Jaime, maybe you want to talk to us. I know you're one of the founding partners. Maybe talk to us about how the name came across, crossover. I know it's very relevant to using crossover in terms of Latino marketing and viewers. And what was the whole vision of the agency?
So
Okay.
basically, Crossover Entertainment started. George comes from the agency world. He used to be in ICM, then he moved to Amy Entertainment, and then we met um, when he was working there. We met as an agent actor relationship. I've been an actor for 28 years. I'm from Mexico City, so when I entered the when we started working together, we did that for 3 years. So George having a knowledge on the American market in the general market, and I had some knowledge in the Latino side in the Latino market. So then I was doing a soap in Mexico, a soap opera in Mexico, and then he called me and he said that he was pretty much done being an agent, but he wanted to open a company with me, and we decided to go ahead and open the company because we saw a need of the Latino market in the United States. Like there was a lot of movement and momentum on Latinos, right? So then we said like, yeah, we have a lot of things that we want to do with Latinos. So first thing that we started doing, we started working with different Latino celebrities, from writers, directors, actors, talent. Um, we have worked with people like Eugenio Derbez, with Angelica Maria. We have worked with the writer of Jane the Virgin. We put her to write um, this show, Jane the Virgin. Um, we work with many different celebrities on the Latino world, and then we started bringing television content, and we got like more focus on that. Like George became my manager, and we started just doing that, like moving content, good stories that comes from the Hispanic world. We've been working with Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, Spain, Peru,
Hmm.
and we bring the best stories to the American market, in the general market. And then Carolina joined because she became one of the executives in the side of observing what was the best hits in the formats world in all these places that I just mentioned to you. And
Got
we've
it.
been doing that for 3 years. I don't know if,
Okay.
oh, okay.
Oh, that's very interesting. Well, I know.
And to answer your question of the word crossover entertainment, we saw the need of a lot of people that wants to come to Hollywood. And since we are based in Hollywood, we're based here in Los Angeles. Uh, Basically, we said like, okay, what is the common denominator that people want to do? Because people wants to come to Hollywood to make it in Hollywood, and I'm just talking about the Latino countries like Mexico, Argentina, Spain, and all these places. They want to cross over to the general market. So
Got
then,
it.
and talking about talent and writers, same story, and and we basically decided like, okay, let's put crossover entertainment, and that kind of like made sense to all of us, to George, myself, Carolina, and then we said like, okay, let's move on, and we started working like that.
George.
Hello,
Okay, thank you. This is Jose in Chicago, LatinoScoop.com.
Jose. How's it going? Everything
I'm
good?
doing good, thank you. I was just talking to Jaime
Great.
about crossover, about the title itself, and how the ideas came about creating the agency. I know he talked about the acting side and how he partnered up with you and you were his agent. But maybe you can tell us a little bit from the agency side how it was to build an agency and the need that you saw from your point of view
Yeah.
for crossover.
Well, I mean, it's funny because it's when this didn't the Hispanic movement, which you probably know more, is didn't actually explode until what, a couple of years back. Explode, when I mean explode, like it really exploded, where we now saw the value. So when I was an agent, there wasn't much of that. There was still the whole, how do we market to Hispanics? How do we, studios were always trying to find the formula of, how do we get into the Hispanic market? So, I mean, the need that I saw in the agency world when I was coming up is, it was funny because we always talked about it was, talent from all around, from, either actors, writers, directors. It's hard because it's two different worlds. It's, that people don't understand. One being that, you got the Hispanic Americans who are one entity, and then you have, Hispanics who are from Mexico, Colombia, whatever. And so, but the thing is that brings us together. It's funny is, it's one thing is, we support our talent. So either if you're Hispanic American or not, I mean, or just Hispanic, we support. So that's our value that I saw. So as an agent, first thing that I thought was, okay, how do we bring that more to the up front. So, we saw Ugly Betty. You saw what the success of Ugly Betty was. From the format that it was from Colombia to Mexico, Mexico to U.S. How it traveled, just incredibly. So in our mind, we were like, okay, great, let's do that, but let's do it in a volume way, meaning, let's bring the best from not just Colombia, Mexico. Let's go other places. Like Jaime was mentioning, Peru, Chile, Brazil, parts of Spain, and finding these great shows so as to produce. Because the other thing we have the need of is executives, Hispanic executives. I mean, there's not many. There's only a few. So that was my biggest thing, is to bring this company with my partners and be that rock where we go, okay, this is the, it's not just a Hispanic company, it's a company that's providing great content, that happens to be Hispanic, run by Hispanic, people. So,
interesting, right?
And that's the biggest thing that in the business, I mean, creatively is different, but in the business world, so people can understand what, who we are. I mean, that's I think that's the hardest thing has been in the studio system. It's been, convincing people, how big our voice is, until obviously Instructions Not Included came out, and then they saw the huge potential value that there is. And now it's a different story.
Well, that was a big film from Monte Leon, Instructions Not Included. But how do you explain something like, well, LatinoScoop, we mostly work with agencies on the film side of things. We're just starting to do more network and television programming. But on the film side, like, for example, the genres like demonology and the cartel genres that are successful among Latino audiences, like the Warner Brothers films for like The Conjuring, The Rite, The Exorcist, Annabelle films.
Yeah.
How do you explain those kind of titles? And now these are questions to anyone, all three of you. How do you explain those kind of titles and such a crossover audience to the English dominant? We're like, whoa, this is like, how can we can relate to such genres? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I mean, one thing is, I mean, just quickly on my end, it's, I'm a true believer on what you put out is what it's kind of saying, if that's what we're putting out and that's what we're identifying ourselves with, that's kind of what we're going with. That's why I keep going to Instructions Not Included, because it's not that, it wasn't, the Sicario, it wasn't the, these type of shows. For me is, bringing a different type of programming for that, bringing a whole different, I mean, I don't know, Jaime can tell you a little bit more about
basically, that. My viewpoint from the beginning, since I started working with George, it's, like, we're Latinos for sure. I'm from Mexico, and George is from here, and he is from Latino heritage. But a good story is a good story. So we're always looking for good stories. We are not the cliche kind of like, oh, if it's Latino, it has to be a Sicario story. No, we are just producing one film that has to do, like, our first film is about human trafficking. Sex is and the way they sell women for sex in the world is human trafficking, but it's a good story. This film we're doing, our first one, it's about that. So it's not cliche, or it's not we're not that. We are bringing in the best stories from the best networks in the Spanish world to television, and these stories that we have that we're bringing to the American general market, to the American audiences, are like the best stories around the world. So sometimes we saw that, Donald Trump goes and talks bad about Latinos or whatever, and then we turn around and we say like, well, there's great stories that are coming from the Latino perspective, and that's what George was mentioning. Instructions Not Included, and there is other ones like Alejandro González Iñárritu tells amazing stories. Guillermo del Toro tells amazing stories. So we are constantly in that direction. We're bringing the best stories from the best networks in the Hispanic world.
Interesting.
Plus in features too. I mean, in features we're looking at, I mean, whoever's fan of whatever, that's up, in a sense, our side for our company is bringing in great stories, a positive message at the end. Like he was talking about the human trafficking is, this, yes, you see the darkness of it, but you also see what's at the end of it, what the message it comes with. So we're true believers in the company. We're true believers.
Go ahead.
What?
No, I'm just saying we're just true believers of that.
Okay. That sounds interesting. That's trafficking film. I look forward to that one there.
Yeah.
Let me ask Carolina a question. Carolina, how challenging is it for you to identify some of these foreign television shows and films to bring over to the U.S. to the U.S. audience?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. There. Okay, good. Well, of course, it's like for us, it's really, really important. One of our main goals is to choose, of course, the best stories, right? The best options for the general market, and we're always like looking, of course, for the great hook, a great twist, really strong characters. So basically, it's that, right? Like really good story with a really good message. Like it's something that we can give to the world.
Oh, okay, interesting. What are some of your now this question is for all of you. What are some of your bigger or some of your projects, upcoming projects besides the human trafficking film that you're working on?
Yeah, like for instance, we're working in different genres. From these stories that are coming from Argentina, Chile, some of the stories have to do with comedies, and they are like very entertaining. Yeah. Some of the stories have a big message. Some of the stories they have like really good hooks on the side of like we're working in one that is like that is about like kidnapping, and you go like, whoa, that story is amazingly well told in the Hispanic world. So we're bringing those to the American world, and we're working also on developing some scripts on the movie side that we're working, but the first one is the Yuca and the Moth. That's the title, and it's just an amazing script, and that's what we.
I mean, that's going to be the first one. I mean, we're going. So to answer your question, we're gonna, our upcoming thing is we have one with Julie Bowen called The Hypochondriac at Fox. It's going to be a first round off. It's to be network, the comedy. So we will go out with that. Hopefully for next year filming. We have another one at CBS, which has to deal with drugs and a senator coming back and not a senator, I'm sorry, a mayor, and legalizing drugs. So it's going to touch a lot of messages on that. That one I can't say much because we have an NDA, so we're not allowed until they announce it, which will be hopefully in a couple weeks or something. And then we have another one at Fox, which is the same thing. It's from Argentina. That is scheduled to go next year to film. When that has to deal with more of a family that comes in and opens up a family business, which is it's very thrillery and dark. And that's going to be at Fox. So pretty much we are, and then this next round we're coming up with, which is, as you know, it's network sales times for us right now at this moment. We are going out with another 5-6 projects with big showrunners. So so we're constantly on the TV side. We're going on the film. We have the one that Jaime was telling you about, the thriller Yucca and the Moth. That, that we're pretty much right now in pre-production. And then we have another film that we're going to be doing next year, which will be a remake. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a pretty full schedule there. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the one thing is, I mean, to understand is to kind of understand who we are, and so you kind of get a little idea. Is I don't come from the entertainment world. My family doesn't come from the entertainment world. It's funny how we got into the business in the sense of I was always been a fan of entertainment. Never knew how to get in. Never knew how to what. I mean, I grew up in South Central and stuff like that. So when I went to school and everything, and I gradually started learning more, it was funny because I always wanted to do this. We found a way. Then gradually, as we move on, we opened up this company for the purposes because we were kind of tired of seeing, not much movement. So we kind of grabbed, ourselves and said, let's go, let's do it. And so this is what happened. So we now become, kind of the, I don't want to say middle or bridge, just because, it's bigger than that, with the studios and the networks. So they pretty much entrust us a lot now doing, from TV to film. So which is great.
We're providing the best stories to the American studios, to the general market studios. And coming from the Latino world, it's amazing to see how big is the market in the Latino world in the United States. Like the power of Latinos in the U.S. It's so impressive. Just how much money the Latino community spends in buying things, products. Like you go to the store, you spend a lot of money. Just the Latino population in the United States, they spend a lot of money on everything, on movies, on products, and we're a big voice. We're not this minority. We're a big giant here.
Yeah.
And so we're providing the best of the Latino content to cross over to the American world.
Yeah.
That's
Latinos,
very interesting.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. As a Latinos, we're growing so much in power and influence. Are you Latino?
I am.
Are you?
I was
Where are you
born here,
from?
but my parents are from Mexico, Guadalajara.
Oh, there you go.
Bien. Yeah, so we're growing so much in power and influence, and of course, crossover is like George is from Latin America, from El Salvador, and Jaime and myself were from Mexico City, and of course we live in here, so we know really good to market right now. So of course, crossover is we're providing all this television content and bringing all this power and try to put all this influence to here, in this market, in this U.S. market.
So, it sounds like the agency came in at a time where there was a void, and you guys are filling that void, and that's great. That's interesting. It's fun. We like to hear down the road.
Yeah, like Carolina was mentioning, like George coming from the Latino heritage, being born in the United States, he comes with a lot of knowledge to the company, right? And we're not per se an agency; we are a production company.
Okay.
That's what we do. We actually provide the content, but we are producers in every one of these shows, or the movies, So we're really. I think it was a great combination because I come from Mexico, Carolina comes from Mexico, George is an American that has knowledge on the American world, but also has knowledge in the Latino side. So I think it's a win-win. That George was mentioning something at the beginning, which is, the language, we are like the bridge, and an understanding two markets and joining them together is not an easy task because sometimes the American people doesn't understand the Latinos or vice versa, so we are cultures that we're merging. So I think it's a very much asset that we have helping the entertainment community.
Well, I can probably relate to you, all three of you. LatinoScoop started about six years ago, and I saw the need, the void, and bringing some of the digital stuff to online, especially movies, because I enjoy movies, and I just enjoy that and listen to stories like the production companies like yours and bringing new content to new viewers and stuff like that. It's very interesting. But
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you for your time. We look forward to your projects.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we can share them with our readers down the road on LatinoScoop.com. And thanks to Brenda and for connecting us and for this interview today.
Yeah, no, thank you to all of you
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Thank you.